She's
Oh,
so
you're so
shy.
cute. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Well, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm
Hmm.
18. I started gymnastics at the age of what? I've only been doing gymnastics for 8 years, so I started gymnastics at the age of 10. Um, my parents were avoiding me putting me in the sport, which was I think it's crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah, I started doing cartwheels around the house around like the age of 2. Um, but my cousin was also a gymnast. She went to Temple, and her parents were telling my parents, "Don't put her in gymnastics. It's too expensive. It's gonna take majority of your time." Blah 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 blah. I mean, they were right.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they were right. So my parents were just like, "Okay, no, we're just not gonna be doing this." So they put me in ballet. That wasn't my forte. I didn't really like ballet that
Oh,
much.
she did ballet, right?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like it?
It was fun, but it was like really kind of like not exciting.
Yeah.
And I would always like do cartwheels around the house. So I was like, can I do like flips instead? You know?
So my parents put me in cheerleading instead. They were like, okay, she can still flip and like dance and things like that. Because
Mhm.
I actually, when I was younger, I would literally put Beyonce on my iPad, go in the hallway, and make up these little dance routines all the time. So they knew that I loved to dance and do flips and stuff. So they were just like, okay, instead of gymnastics, instead of dance, let's put her in cheerleading. Oh, I love cheerleading. I thought it was
Okay.
like the best thing ever. Plus I was like the tiniest one, so I was always the flyer, which I thought was so cool. So
Yeah.
but there was this one day, this what put the cherry on top for them to put me in gymnastics. I was at Port Discovery, and basically it's like this huge, I don't know how to explain it, it's been some years, but it's like this huge like building full of like activities, like jungle gyms, like crazy things like that. And I
Hmm.
was like on this cool bridge thingy, and I was doing flips on there, even though probably shouldn't have, but there was this other little girl doing flips as well, and it seemed like a little competition thing. So when I would do a flip, she would do a flip, and I was to her, I was like, "Mm-mm. This is my turn."
Right.
So I got a little competitive, and I was like, "What is one thing that this girl probably cannot do?" And I was just like, "A backflip." So put my little hands up, look behind me like this. I was like, "You look at this. You see this?" Boom, chucked it, and I made it.
Oh,
And my parents
wow.
were like, "No!" So like when I made it, my dad was just like, "Oh yeah, she made." And the little girl, she gave up. She couldn't compete with me.
You said the whole package. Oh, cool. Cool. Toy definitely loves to flip, and she's always flipping all over the place. So I can definitely relate to that for sure. But I would like to say that you really inspire her. And when she first saw you, the first thing she said is she was like, "Oh my God, Mom, she gets to wear her curls." She's like, "Do you see her hair?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, it's so beautiful." And then so to have um now the second HBCU gymnastics program, it's just I think it's just so amazing, and she gets to see things that she doesn't necessarily see when she practices. So she was just like, oh my, she was in awe. She was like, oh my God. And then she saw your dance routine, and she was like practicing and doing all the things. So I was like, okay. So she's like,
you over there like,
her.
"Clever mom."
She's super shy. I can't even believe
I
it
love her
now.
hair. I see the curl pattern. I love your hair.
Thank you.
And she wears
Welcome.
a little bun. So you had some questions. You can ask your questions.
What inspired you to become a gymnast?
I think it's just gymnastics is just challenging in itself. Like not everyone can do it. Plus that's seriously like the talent I've had since being like I told you like 2. So plus there was also some other people in my family who actually wanted to become a gymnast. Like my mom did, but she didn't get the chance to. Um, so I think it's cool that I'm able to do gymnastics and be a collegiate gymnast as well. So I think it's also very like cool and inspiring now that I'm at HBCU, because you never heard of an HBCU having a gymnastics team. I always thought I was going to be going to a D1,
Yeah.
but God had a plan and gave me this opportunity. I'm blessed and I'm honored. So
Yeah. What would you say is one of your proudest moments as a gymnast?
That is a good question. I think in gymnastics that you're always gonna have injuries,
Mhm.
and also being like a late starter, there's gonna be times that you're gonna want to give up, and you just really have to just stay positive and remember the good moments in gymnastics. And even just through all of that and just injuries and just having been able to sit out and look at other girls keep going, I
Mhm.
think that I'm proud of myself for not giving up and keep going
Mm.
and pursuing my dream, my goals. Um, I would definitely have to say that, and definitely for like my freshman year of the accomplishments that I've made, myself and like my team as well. I think that's also great. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Don't
mhm.
you think so? That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome, right?
Wait, what age did you start gymnastics, Chloe?
4, I
Four.
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, I think it's not.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite event?
Um, either floor or ball.
Really?
And
That's my favorite event.
Oh,
Ball.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And she's like the tiniest on the team. So you always see like all the other girls, and there's like, where's Chloe? And she's like the little itty bitty girl.
I was one
Um,
of those girls. I'm still
yeah.
short to this day. I'm still like in the when we are like lining up for competitions, I'm literally one of the shortest ones in the line. Like I'm literally
Wow.
like the yeah, it's sad, but
Yeah, it doesn't appear that way on TV, so that's so funny. But yeah,
I
she's
know.
definitely the tiniest.
yeah.
So how would you say you are able to balance academia, schoolwork, and training? Because I know you have to put in a lot of hours. How are you able to balance the two?
It was hard, because in high school I was homeschooled because of gymnastics, because I would have to train for
Oh.
hours. So we had no choice but to homeschool because I was going through the elite track and things like that. So going from being homeschooled to college and being back in public school, and they have all these professors and then work and then you have actual practice and lift, it was a lot.
Mhm.
Plus we also had study hall hours. Um, so being able to balance all of that, I think you just really have to communicate with your professors, like when you're even
Mhm.
going out of town, and you'd be like, "Hey, I'm going out of town. I have a competition," because you don't want
Mhm.
to get back in the line. That would just be like the worst.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, you just really have to take time to really like study. You really have to stay focused and just dedicated, because if not, then everything can just be chaotic.
yeah.
Um, so definitely for your freshman year. Freshman year is tough. I mean, everyone will say that, but
Mhm.
after a while, you get like the gist of it. You know what you have to do to get the hang of everything. But yeah, definitely having a calendar and just be like, okay, this is what I need to do for this day for that day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But I think I did pretty good for my first year. I was able to get the hang of things. I mean, sometimes I even had to communicate with my coach, like, look, because she would even give us what do you call it, like study days,
Mhm.
like, hey, like I'm so sorry, like I have a test that I need to study for. It's like
Mhm.
5 or whatever, and she would give us that day off to make sure that we get everything together so we can pass that class, because
Oh, that's
studies
awesome.
studies come first.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
mhm.
How many hours do you put in a week?
For you mean like gymnastics or
Yeah. Uh-huh.
uh I don't know how to really put the map together, but I do know that I want to say we practice 5 days a week, and the
Okay.
practice would be like 3.5 hours. So we would practice from 6:30 to 9:30. So yeah, 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of the same as me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
Chloe's 4 days a week for 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we often wondered if it would come to like having to homeschool her, just like how,
Mhm.
how to balance and everything. So we found that some parents actually do homeschool, and then there are parents that actually, allow their kids to go to school. So
Mine
that's,
was an online program. Like my
oh,
parents didn't actually like homeschool me, so yeah. They did. I think they try to like homeschool like my brother. But
mhm.
the parents also have to be like dedicated and like on schedule as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just like the kid itself, is also just like the parent. So they
Mhm.
just thought the best option for me was just to put me online school. Um, so yeah, it worked out. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Are there any gymnasts that inspired you?
Gabby Douglas.
Oh,
Like
I
Gabby
root
Douglas
for
was mine, like growing up. Oh wait, say it again. What'd you say?
I root for Gabby Douglas too.
You do?
Mhm.
Growing up, I would always have you ever seen her movie, like, on Netflix or
Yeah,
anything? Like yeah,
mhm.
so good.
I love that movie, I always put it on repeat. I think it was also just the fact that she was accomplishing the things that she was accomplishing, and she was also someone that looked like me. I thought that was, like, dope.
Yeah.
Uh, she was my inspiration still to this day now that she's getting back into gymnastics, doing her
Mm.
thing. Um, yeah, she's my inspiration. So, yeah.
No, go
What
ahead. So silly.
How do you prepare for gymnastics?
Practice is definitely different because I mean, like, you are focused, but you're not, like, I don't want to say like nervous or just really like on edge sometimes, like versus like a competition you would be, at least for me personally,
Mhm.
sometimes. But a lot of times I will like listen to music a lot. I'll like put on like headphones to get myself in that zone and think about how I want to perform that routine on that event, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um and I've had some people say that I look mad or something like but it's just like my resting face.
Yeah.
People always say that to me too. They're like, Chloe, why are you mad? I'm like, I'm not mad. And then my friend came in and she said, no, Chloe's not mad. That's just her resting face sometimes.
Oh, some people get it, some people don't, unfortunately. Um, but I think like in the very beginning, because this is where when we're in the bus or like heading to the competitions, and it's not even just me, like other girls who do that too. Like they'll just get in their own zone, listen to their own music. But then once we get into like the school, we'll have like this little locker room. Then we'll play music on a speaker for everyone to hear. Um, we'll even like pray before the competition. We'll even like have like a little party or just whatever to get all of us like in the mood.
Mhm.
Um, to just get us prepared for the competition so we can kill it out there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
What advice would you give a young girls that aspire to become a gymnast?
So,
That's a good question though. That's a good question. Um, I would have to say that to try gymnastics. I don't know. I feel like, some girls who like flip around the house like me probably don't really know if they want to do like gymnastics or not. And I feel like that you should always just give it a try because you never know if it really could just be your calling. Like me, like my parents tried to avoid it, but when they put me in it, they realized that was seriously just like my true talent. But I do also want to give advice out there for if you are a late starter, but kind of like what I said before, it's going to be tough. You're not going to know as much as like the other kids or like including say if I was like a parent, you're not going to know like what to do as like the other parents do. So trying to like figure all that out can be tough.
mhm.
Um and you really just have to like stay positive, think of the good days because there are going to be days you just want to give up and be like I don't want to do this anymore. Because when I first started out, my mom put me in rec classes. And I was like too advanced because I was already like self-taught. I was, fortunate to have like a trampoline in my backyard and
Mhm.
just all that jazz. And my parents was just like, okay, so what are we supposed to do for her to get competing and stuff? Because I know there's like more to gymnastics, blah blah. And she found out about tryouts. I don't know how she figured it out, but she put her neck there and did some googling or whatnot. And I tried out for a team, and I started at level 4, age of 10. Um, so it really just takes some like asking around, possibly for the people who actually do have some experience in gymnastics. Um, but yeah, you just really just have to keep your head in the game. Try it out. Won't hurt. If it becomes your calling, that is great.
Yeah.
Like I
It sure
said, I'm
will.
just blessed. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next? What do you see yourself doing? In the next 5 years or so, any big plans?
Well, I want to become a veterinarian. I've always wanted to become a veterinarian. Yeah. So I crazy story is I've always just loved pets. The furry ones. Don't give me the reptiles. I don't do the scaly.
Not the scaly one, sorry.
No, no,
No,
no, no.
no.
It's one reason why I actually came to Talladega in the first place. From Talladega, I was able to get like a plan for them to where I'll be set after college to where I'll get everything I need to get into veterinary school. So
Okay.
I really want to look into internships and possibly get some experience to become a veterinarian so I can make that goal happen. So yeah.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. My oldest, she wants to be a veterinarian. So we're looking at
Oh, really?
yeah. Oh my God. She can tell you anything you need to know about any animal. Anything she finds is amazing, actually. Yeah, but she loves animals too.
Because I look at like like veterinary shows and things like that, try to learn from off of that. But I think that's cool. Are you interested in reptiles?
Reptiles, no.
Um,
Because reptiles just gives me a weird feeling because they're always just like, they just seem so slimy and scaly, and it makes me itch sometimes. And she gave me that.
Yeah, we have a lot of newts and we have everything back here where we are. Rabbits and lizards and
They all
you
die.
name it. Oh yeah. Well, that's nature, I
It's
guess.
the mom.
Yeah.
The mamas.
well, like outside of gymnastics, what's like your favorite thing to do, Chloe?
Probably just like look everywhere and do whatever I want because of course coaches are always gonna say like don't do blah 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 out of gymnastics and stuff. Guess what happens? Birthday parties. We go to like a trampoline park and we start doing flips like there's this one girl one time she said, who knew we could do all of this stuff when the coaches weren't here?
It's funny because I remember this one time I brought up the trampoline park to my coach. It was a bad idea. They were like, "What? You went to a trampoline park? Blah 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 blah." They don't like trampoline park, but like going there, like showing off all these flips that other people can't do. I think it's fun. It's like so fun. Even like in college, like my friends and I went to a trampoline park. It was
that's cool.
It was fun.
I always want to do that because you get to be free finally, really, and you can do like whatever you really want there. And there's like other people doing it too. I'm like, oh, we gotta win and stuff because we always like to do competitions between the people, but they don't know that we're doing it. They're just doing whatever they're doing, but then we're like in our minds we have to beat this person because we're like it's like always fun to have a competition during like people when they don't know, so it's fun to do whatever we want to do on like trampolines, tumble track, whatever we want.
That's true. What's your favorite skill?
My favorite skill, really, if it had to be like a really specific stick skill, it would probably be like long hip.
Hip?
Yeah.
I think it was so fun, like learning those because I don't know why I feel like that's the biggest step you can ever make on bars because every like little girl wants to make a kip, and then once you make that, then you start to get to learn bigger skills and get more consistent with that. So I think, that's cool. I think that was like one of my favorite skills as well. But my favorite skills, Yuchenko 1.5 on vault. I think those are fun. What skill would you like to learn?
I think I would really like to learn a kip cast and handstand because I'm like so close when I get to do like even get to try. All I have to do is just drive my heels a little more, like I'm like right here.
Okay.
So because then you could really like start your routine off of that. Because I feel like a kick to a handstand is like one of the main skills on bars because you get to start off your routine like with an amazing start.
Yeah.
And I'm amazing at handstands. I can hold it for like a long time. So
Dang.
it's like so cool to get because like handstands is like on almost every single event.
Yeah.
So I get
Yeah.
to practice those a lot. So I feel like learning one to do on the bar will complete the whole adventure because then you could start doing like crazy stuff on the bars. You could turn with one arm or you could
Free
do
hips,
like yeah, do
everything.
whatever.
But good luck to you. We can't wait to see you on the screen again and just doing your thing like you did before. So we're definitely rooting for you.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. It was so nice meeting you, Chloe. You're like the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
And good luck to you in your gymnastics career. I can't wait to watch you. Like again, thank you for having me. You guys were so nice, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.